Hey guys, it's Alex again. Welcome to this brand new editorial slash video segment called The Librarian's Desk. So, what's the Librarian's Desk, you ask? Well, the idea kind of started with talking with a bunch of people in the Games and Me chat room, and of course some of the Games and Me guys. And they thought that I should do a show that's kind of separate from the Unboxed videos and stuff, because you know, they kind of felt that I should do a lot more than just the Unboxed videos on the channel, and apart from the podcast. Not that the podcast isn't enough already. So I kind of thought, you know, the Librarian's Desk would be a perfect venue for that. So in short, the Librarian's Desk is gonna really be all about my thoughts, mini reviews, pickups, and editorials about video gaming, my life as a gamer, and the friends that I play games with. It's gonna be a little bit more intimate than most of the shows on this channel, but I'm hoping you guys will like it anyway. Actually, you guys actually caught me in a really interesting situation here. I've been looking at previous photos from E3s that we've attended, and I was just reminiscing about like some of the memories that me and my friends have had, and you know, like just going to E3 and stuff over the past few years. But lately, E3 really hasn't been as exciting as it used to be. But what I hear though is that this year, this show is going to be as lavish as all the previous ones.
When I first went to E3, there were a lot of different things to see. There were tons of companies I've never even heard of before. Free demos, playable kiosks, mini theaters, booth babes, raffles, tchotchkes, you name it, E3 had it. They even gave you a Prima strategy guide of the entire show in case you got lost. And I call shenanigans on people who say that E3 is for working professionals in the industry. After all, this kid wouldn't be able to get in if it were true.
I remember when I actually went to my first E3, it was like, it was crazy. Like, E3 seemed to me like it was a really huge, like, arcade where you could play, like, games that, you know, have newly been announced, like, just at the show and for the show. E3 was a big deal because that was, like, their big reveal for a lot of different things. Like, you know, like, I remember seeing Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time and being playable and lining up for it. That was a tremendous deal. And of course I remembered how kind of low-key the Metal Gear Solid 3 announcement was, even though it was still a big deal. And of course, you know, all those lines that we had to go through, like lining up for the Square Theater, the Microsoft Theater for like the Halo multiplayer and all that stuff. And all those just huge announcements and stuff. Like I remember like in E3 2006 when Spore became like a big deal again and stuff, and people were like lining up for like literally like 8 hours a day to kind of get in. And of course like in E3 2006 when our group kind of like lined up to see the Wii, I think it took us like 3 or 4 hours to actually get in and stuff, but still felt that, you know, at the time like it was well worth the wait.
So E3's always been like this. Up until the ESA, the governing body that runs the show, decided that E3 should be stripped down and the requirements of the show to be tightened in 2006. Even though E3 was originally supposed to be an expo open only to game industry analysts, investors, and professionals, it's grown in size over the past few years to include a greater variety of people who were initially not perceived to be industry professionals. This new E3 would exclude these people and many others like them, as the ESA announced that E3 2007 would be by invitation only. Needless to say, industry notables were not happy with what E3 turned out to be. However, I'm hopeful about E3 2009. Every video game website out there, and even the official E3 website itself, are beginning to use photos of the last big E3 in 2006 in order to pump up this year's E3. The new E3 is said to be reopened to all qualified computer and gaming industry individuals and was to be expanded greatly from the past few years.
To me, E3 has always been and should always be a celebration of this hobby that we all love. Regardless of your console affiliation, genres you may like or dislike, games you might like or dislike, E3 was always a symbol of unity across all platforms. A place where all publishers, first or third party, could talk to each other about their games and what they think the future of video game holds to the gamers to play their games. You know, the scale of our E3 is comparable to the movie industry's Academy Awards. It's a shining representation of the creativity and the passion that video game developers put into their games, and a preview of things to come for the gamers who couldn't attend. And I'm sorry, G4 and Spike, we can't really take your video game awards that seriously. Well, thanks for watching this, and we'll see you at the show.